Huacachina is a village built around a small oasis surrounded by sand dunes that can reach heights of up to 1,600 feet. Located in the southwestern parts of Peru within the province of Ica. It's 10 minutes outside of the city of Ica, 1.5 hour drive from Paracas, and a 4.5 hour drive from Lima. This oasis has been a long tourist attraction for locals, but has seen a spike in foreigners visiting this area in recent years. Though this site sees many tourists daily, it only has a permanent population of 100. The name comes from Quechua, possibly shortened from Huacachina Quechua, a literal translation of hidden lagoon. It's also referred to as the Oasis of America. According to locals, the water and mud are therapeutic with healing powers, where both locals and tourists can be seen bathing in an attempt to cure their ailments. The lake itself was created by natural seepage from underground aquifers. However, an increase of well drilling started to threaten the supply in the early 2000s. To preserve the oasis, local business groups began pumping water into the lake in 2015. A year later, the government announced that a Peruvian scientist would lead the project to restore the Huacachina Lagoon. But since 2020, no further news of the proposal has come to fruition. The village is quite small. One can walk through it in a matter of minutes, but I would recommend staying here for 2 nights to soak up the scenery. Like many places in Peru, it's mellow, so take your time as the locals do. If you're coming from a fast-paced society, you'll notice how slow the service is compared to your own, even when ordering a simple coffee. Just remember, this is the pace for most of the country. You're on vacation, so slow down and appreciate the change in scenery. The village has many restaurants, cafes, and shops to choose from, which are all family-owned, each one offering authentic and local dishes. I don't have any food recommendations. My only advice is to walk around the village, see what each restaurant has on the menu, and give it a try. By and large, the lodging you'll find are hostels. If you're not keen on staying at a hostel, one may find hotels and Airbnbs right outside of the village in the nearby town of Ica. Lodging ranges from $20 to $50 a night for private rooms at a hostel, and $10 to $25 for dorms. Hotels and Airbnbs range from $50 and up, with cheaper accommodation in the nearby city that range from $20 to $80 a night. If you're like myself, where you value your peace time at the end of the day, they do offer private rooms. However, if you've ever stayed at a hostel, it's a revolving door of partying and can get pretty loud each night. With that said, I still do recommend staying at a hostel within the oasis because it offers the convenience and access to the many activities you're here for. Be sure to book your lodging ahead of time, as all the accommodations within the oasis do fill up by midday. With nightfall, one can party and mingle with locals and newfound friends at the several bars and hostels around the oasis. Once the bar closes, you can find yourself in an underground 3-story rave. I would have never guessed this place existed, but as a former DJ and raver, this really made my trip. An underground rave at an oasis in the middle of the desert, in Peru. But that's just one of the many great things about traveling abroad, and why I personally love traveling. One never really knows where they'll end up each day, and you're constantly living in the present. Getting here, one can either rent a car or motorbike from Lima, take a public bus, or shuttled by tour, with the latter being the easiest and most comfortable way to get here. The tour I recommend is through Peru Hop. The staff is friendly and knowledgeable, paired with like-minded travelers. I usually don't book too many tours, and when I do, I usually book private and not large groups, as I can go my own pace. However, this tour was well worth it. The staff was genuinely enthusiastic about what they do and really love their country and want to show it off. It puts the extra oomph in the experience because it makes it more personable and tailored. This video is not sponsored by them, I just genuinely had a great time. You can find more information in the description below. Huacachina is located in the Ica region, which is known for warm and dry climates. Essential things to bring are sunglasses, hat, a mask, sunscreen, chapstick, and nail clippers. Since the environment is high arid desert, one may be prone to drier skin, getting chapped lips, and hangnails. A windbreaker is also a good idea to have, as it can get pretty windy. The best time to visit the oasis is during the dry season, which runs from May to September. During this time, the weather is typically sunny and dry, making it a perfect time to enjoy the many outdoor activities it offers. One of these activities is riding a dune buggy. If you've never ridden a dune buggy before, it can feel pretty intense. I would compare it to a roller coaster ride, but with a feeling of less in control, since you're not on rails. At the time of making this video, it was my third time dune buggying. It was well worth the experience, but I wish there was an option to rent out a buggy and drive it yourself. I personally would have stayed longer if renting a buggy was an option. Other activities are sledding and sandboarding. Visitors can rent a sandboard and boots at the village and take it up with them while dune buggying. If you've snowboarded before, sandboarding is a completely different beast. Sandboarding is a lot more cumbersome. You constantly have to wax your board after every sand dune you hit, otherwise you won't have control of the board and it won't slide. Is it worth sandboarding? I personally don't think so, at least on this trip. But if you decide to try it, I recommend bringing your normal shoes with you so you can switch off them and sled down the dunes instead. I chose this destination because it looked unique and I wanted to experience what it would be like in a desert oasis firsthand, not to mention the many opportunities of street photography. What I got was much more than that. This journey and this location in particular ignited my newfound fascination of sand dunes and desert. This place sparked my curiosity of the amazing formation of sand dunes, so much so that since Huacachina, I visited 5 other sand dunes and counting. You can see more of that in one of my other videos called Our Long Walk, links in the description below. If you're planning a trip to Peru, Huacachina should be on top of your bucket list. And if you're a seasoned adventurer, I would rent a motorbike and ride from north to south of the country.